It's the Daily Doug.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today. My friends, you have arrived on a Friday. It is the end of another work week. We need to let loose a little bit, and I have you covered, my friends. It's a Masterpiece Friday, and for the first time in the calendar year 2024, we are listening to music by Pink Floyd, and I'm happy that you are along for the ride. So today I am going to one of our friends, Ray, and Ray has suggested that I look at Astronomy Domine two different ways. It's some early Pink Floyd, y'all, and here is some of Ray's read-in for us. He says this song was the opening track for two different Pink Floyd albums and stayed in their live sets until 1971. The first version was recorded at Abbey Road in 1967 with Syd Barrett at the helm, and it opens their debut album, Piper at the Gates of Dawn. The later version was recorded live in 1969, this time with David Gilmour at the helm on guitar and on vocals, and it opens the half-live, half-studio album, Umagumma. How about that? Ray says you'll get to hear how the song evolves from one era of the band to the next. We'll hear some of the connective tissue of the song change, and where the first version has a clear lead vocalist, the second version feels more like a duet. And of course, Syd Barrett and David Gilmour have quite different guitar styles, right? And in this era of the band, they had pretty great freedom to extend its songs in concert. And in the live version, the bridge is going to grow longer and even include some quiet passages from Richard Wright's organ. Really cool. Ray finishes by saying the song has two different flavors to suit different tastes. Which one do you prefer? The 1967 studio version or the 1969 live version? Well, that is a question that I want to answer today, and I haven't heard either version, so it's a good thing that we're doing this, right? I have previously heard other songs from both of these early albums. From Piper at the Gates of Dawn, I've heard Arnold Lane, I've heard Pow-R, Toch H, and Bike. And from Umagumma, I've heard several species of small furry animals doing their stuff. And I've heard Set Controls for the Heart of the Sun. Really fascinating music from early Pink Floyd here. So I'm eager to hear Astronomy Domine and how it fits in with the early Pink Floyd music that I have already heard. But before we get to the music, I am happy to again welcome NordVPN as today's sponsor of this video. NordVPN is currently extending an exclusive offer to my viewers, and I'm excited about this, y'all. Every purchase of a 2-year plan from NordVPN, which is already their best value, will get you an extra bonus of 4 months on your subscription. This applies to all of their plans, Standard, Plus, and Complete. And this is only available, friends, if you click on the special link in the top of this video's description. And I am really excited to be back working with NordVPN. I am a happy customer, and their products provide me with a great peace of mind. They have the fastest VPN on the planet and by far the most servers for us to connect to. They protect me while I am online, but they don't track or share what I do while I am online, and that's really a great comfort to me because I spend so much time online. They allow me to connect virtually around the world, and that is my favorite feature. Check this out, y'all. If I am traveling anywhere around the world, if I'm over in London, let's say, I can connect my VPN to London and access whatever I need to there. But if I need to get back home, I can connect virtually from anywhere back to anywhere in the country, including my home area here, which is right near New York. NordVPN is a great company, and they have great products. And again, I am excited to be working with them. Any purchase of their 2-year plans gets you a bonus of 4 months. This is an exclusive offer, and you only get it if you click on my special link. It's nordvpn.com/Doug Helvering. And they always offer a 30-day money-back guarantee if you're not completely satisfied. Okay, y'all, with all of that said, let's get into the music, shall we? Astronomy Domine, like we have said, is the first track from Pink Floyd's very first album, Piper at the Gates of Dawn. It's written by Syd Barrett and Richard Wright. Syd Barrett is on the electric guitar and vocals. Roger Waters is on the bass. Richard Wright is on the farfisa organ and vocals. And Nick Mason is on the drums. So let's get into it, y'all. Here is Astronomy Domine from Pink Floyd, the studio version from Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Off we go. Okay. Boy, that's real quiet. I can't make out what they're saying. Bum, 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 bum. But that note, low note's an E. So is the high note. Holy chord! That's one way to start off. Half step down.
Floating down, the sound resounds around the icy waters underground.
Up a step.
Jupiter and Saturn, over on Miranda and Titania.
This is nuts.
Titan,
Neptune, Titan, stars confront. All of the things that they're naming here are moons. And that's just a descending chromatic scale, down, 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 down. And they stay there. And they go up by half step. And they go up again. This is nuts. Science fiction. They're right on point musically with what they're talking about. G chord to an A chord. E major. Okay. E flat. Major. All major chords. That's G to A. E. That's nuts. E flat. And there's the G again. Are they just going in circles with all of these major chords? There's the A chord. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, E. E major. E flat. Major. And a chromatic third, G major. Then up by whole step to A. 4 chords, but not your typical 4-chord song. So an A to G sharp, G, F sharp, F, E, E flat to D, and it stays there. A to D, down a whole fifth. Major, minor, D major to D minor. Same note, that's a D, but sometimes it's major and sometimes it's minor, and that's the whole song. Wow, friends. Okay, Pink Floyd. I mean, look at the I've got wires around my legs. Look at, you got Dark Side, you've got The Wall down there, you've got all of these big albums and songs that Pink Floyd would end up doing. This is the first song off their first album, and it is not mainstream. It may sound a little bit like it, but it's off a little bit. This is really cool. Let's talk about some of the harmonies that they're using there. Let me make sure that I'm not rolling over anything. Okay. Hi, everybody. So, E major, maybe, or is where they ended up being, right? And then down to E flat. So that G becomes the root of the third of that chord and the root of that chord, and then it goes up to A, to E flat, to G, to A, right? And then and then back to E. And then it was all the way down from A down to D, and then we got that weird, sometimes it's D major and sometimes it's D minor and sometimes it's D major and sometimes it's D minor at the end there. And at the very beginning, I almost thought it was E minor, and then he switched it like to E flat, and it sounded like he kept like all of that stuff. Like, how can I do this? Like a color chord, like he's combining an E minor chord and an E flat major chord at the same time, with that G as the common third between both of those. That's what it was sounding like. I was not ready, my friends, for something that would provide me so much opportunity to talk about some music theory. Holy buckets, friends. I've got to go on and hear what they did with this with Umagumma. It's longer, I think. So let's go to it. The only roster change that we have is now we have David Gilmour on guitar and vocals instead of Syd Barrett. And this live recording came from their April 27th, 1969 performance in Birmingham, England. So I am curious as all get out to see what they do with this live and how it comes off. Let's go to it. Astronomy Domine live from Umagumma. Here we go. Again, starts really soft. Sounds like a suspended chord almost. We don't get the talking underneath, nor the pulse, the high, like Morse code. Okay, same key, A star and an E. It's exciting, isn't it? There it is. No, it's just two major chords. E major. Down to E flat. Then there's the G. Up to the A. Jupiter and Saturn. Oberon, Miranda, and Titania. Neptune, Titan, stars can frighten. I like this better so far. It'll teach you your descending chromatic scale, won't it? That was cool.
The sound resounds around the icy waters underground.
I love the the dynamic changes that they have going in the band here. And I can hear Richard's voice a little more clearly, like Ray mentioned, in this version. It's like flat 6 to flat 5. That's where you hear that motion most often. Like flat 6 to 5, but that's not how they're using it. Should reintroduce my shaker. I fixed it. To answer Ray's question, I think I prefer the mix and the scope of this version personally better than I did the first one. Like this stuff we didn't hear in the first version, so they've extended it some. There's that E major chord. You get caught just following along with them, and you're like, yeah, this all sounds kind of repetitive and everything, but the color is so unique in this chord progression that they're using. That's cool. Richard is really underrated. He's a great keyboard player, but more than anything, he's a really great band member. He's an orchestrator. He knows just what to play. And when. Here comes Roger in on the bass. To the open fifths. So they're just arpeggiating and playing in this chord progression that's circular. It's hard to even know where it starts and where it stops because of the interesting chords. So let's start here. E major, E flat, to G, to A. All of them are major chords. And no, those four chords are not in the same key. Those four major chords are never in the same key. So they're playing something that's tonal, but not functionally tonal, and it sounds awesome. Half step up. There's up the half step up. Blinding signs flap, flicker, 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 blam, pow, pow. Amazing stuff. Well, that's one way to do it. I was hearing D major to D minor. Now I'm hearing D major to F major. That makes more sense with all the use of major triads. Live. Such an interesting tune, isn't it? The fact that they're using all major triads. Their chords all have the same, intervals in them. So they're moving the intervals around and rolling over melodies in between all of these. And then they're like, yeah, let's just stick in a fully descending chromatic scale, at least half of one that spans a perfect fifth, and put that in there. Yeah, Ray, I think I like the second one better, but that's not a slight against the first one because it really brought out all of those elements that I was able to hear that then we used to take a look at that live version as well. It's fascinating to me. Pink Floyd became such a huge, huge band in sales, in concerts. They're just a huge band, and this was like the first song off of their first album. And how this comes into a realm that captivates people on a broad spectrum that then allows the band to go forward and do these huge, like arena style rock concept albums and big concerts and guitar solos and you name it. It starts like this, and that's something that I don't know how it would happen these days if a band was starting out doing experimental type things like that, to get a couple of albums before they're like ready to make their mark on the world. I think the financial aspect of making music in the 2020s is quite a bit different than it was in the late 1960s and early 1970s. And this song, I think, is a product of its time. Astronomy Domine. Astronomy, we're looking up here. Domine is we're wanting to dominate or have order over things. And it's during the height of the space race that this song comes about. 1967, that's the year that, if I remember right, Apollo 1, the tragedy with Apollo 1 happened. And between the time that the live album of Umagumma was recorded and when it was released, Apollo 11, we landed on the moon. So it's right in the middle of the space race, and our fascination with the astronomy stuff, right? Our celestial neighborhood. We were really, really interested in that. And, our fascination with astronomy and celestial events continues to astound us and amaze us. Just earlier this week, here in North America, we had the big solar eclipse, and people were just captivated and awed by it. I saw that on one interstate in northern New York, there was like an 80-mile backup for people who had traveled up there just to see, the path of totality and trying to come back to southern New York, and everybody was driving at the same time. So it just goes to show you, people will travel and spend time to be awed and to be reminded of just how big the universe is and just how small we are. It re-centers us, it reminds us of our environment. And, we get a chance to have these celestial wonders come right up to our doorstep and occasionally say hello to us with awe-inspiring visuals and motion and just wonder upon wonder of looking up into the stars, into the heavens, and having our fascination fed continuously. It's really, really a cool way to end the week and to go back to some very early Pink Floyd. I appreciate Ray for reminding me that I need to get back to early stuff. And Astronomy Domine, it's a wonder, or it was great to listen to both versions of that and see how they would have prepared it for their studio release, and then how they would have adapted it for a live concert. Wonderful stuff, everybody. I thank you so much for being with me. It's been a great week, and I'm looking forward to next week. But I believe that is all for me today and this week. I thank you for being with me, and we'll see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.
It's the Daily Doug. Welcome to the Daily Doug. The Daily Doug.